Today we are specifically talking about methods to level up quickly as an early game player. If you're super new to Genshin, I would recommend watching my day one video I did a while ago. I'll have that linked in the description. That video also goes over ways to level up, but also various other mechanics of the game. For this one, I just want to focus on leveling up quickly. Let's start with the most obvious, daily quests. At our current adventure rank of 20, you get a combined total of 1300 XP, which is significant. That's almost half of an entire level here. For this first one, we just gotta defeat all opponents, pretty easy, though it does surely take a lot longer than my main account. For this next one, we just gotta destroy the Hilitril towers, can warp out of there then. Some daily quests like the one I'm going to now are just more story / mini game related. Anyway, once you're done, make sure to head to the nearest Catherine to claim your daily commission reward, which is this additional 500 XP primarily. Daily quests are going to be one of your most consistent sources of good amounts of adventure XP. Number 2, of course, very obvious again, but spend your original resin. Try not to let it sit at cap for too long, because then you're just wasting it. Until AR45, this is mostly going to be ley lines for XP books and Mora, and maybe a few runs in talent books or weapon upgrade material here and there. Me personally, I'm gonna mostly be focusing on XP books because most of my characters aren't at the highest level they can be yet. So I'm basically just gonna spam a couple of those and I'll be back. I guess I should note though that it doesn't matter where you're actually spending your resin, you will always get the same adventure XP, which is 10 XP per resin spent. Let's see what we can do with all that XP. I have been meaning to finish my Shanling. She's an incredibly good 4-star as well. So we got her to 40, which is really cool. And that is the max level until rank 25. Try and finish my Xingqiu as well. Still not quite there. But yeah, you get the idea. Just make sure to spend your resin. Third way to level up, Archon quests, aka the main story, and then all the world quests, aka side quests. It is of course generally important to at least try and keep up with the Archon quests. Not only do you get some constellations for your main character and a lot of adventure XP, but it's kind of how the whole world opens up. We're currently at 2295 adventure XP, and while you can see how much XP you get in the quest menu, often Archon quests are split into different pieces, so you might not realize how much you're actually getting. We've gone as far as we can, which was basically just one story quest. Now we gotta wait till adventure rank 23. In the meantime, a lot of other story quests have opened up, so we could do those. The quests that have their own special box here, especially when it says Act or Part 1, will typically give you more XP than you see here if you complete the entire thing. We'll do one real quick to demonstrate. Currently at 380. And without even really noticing, we got that XP. You can see now we have 655. We're just gonna continue on the quest. And we've already gotten another 275 XP, as you can see, in the span of about 5 minutes, and we're still on Act 1. Our rewards have also been increased, so this 400 will probably be for the end of Act 1. And there we go, we've completed the quest. That was actually all for now. I forget at the moment, I'm not sure if there's an Act 2 to this or not, but also through that quest, we've unlocked another weekly boss, so as I was saying earlier, it's kind of important regardless just to kind of open up the world. They so happen to be really good for adventure XP as well. We got around 1,000 from that one quest, and it took maybe 15-20 minutes. The next several points are mostly about exploration, going around and unlocking your teleport waypoints. While it only gives 50 adventure XP, so it's not a massive amount, it's one of those really quick, easy, and honestly convenient things to do as well, because the more teleport waypoints you have unlocked, the easier you can move around the world. And since you also have access to Liyue very, very early on, the XP you get from them does add up. Liyue was also expanded rather recently, so even more of these waypoints you can unlock. Genshin's map is pretty huge by now, and there are some pre-unlocked waypoints, like this one for example. Point is, starting pretty early on, you have access to nearly the entire world. Back in the old days, you did have to rely mostly on resin and daily quests to, rank up. But now with how big Genshin is, your main limiting factor is really just time. There are now literally almost 400 world quests, most of them giving at least a couple hundred XP, which, as I'm showing here, you can use the interactive map for, though it is important to know that some world quests, before they even show up, require certain triggers, like doing a different quest, being in a place at one point, etc., etc. So it's better to just focus on your journal, and if you're really craving more world quests, then, compare with the interactive map and see which ones are on your own map. Next up, in a similar vein, chest farming. Here's like one of the most common chests. It's actually an exquisite, but you see these very, very often, and they give you, 20 XP. You might think, that's not that much XP. Thing is, there are a lot of chests, well over 2,500, so it adds up, especially if you use an interactive map and are somewhat efficient with it. We also have a lot of these one-time domains hanging around the map. They'll usually give you 300 to 400 adventure XP, and they're pretty quick to do. They are only one-time dungeons, but still, they're really quick to do. They give a good amount of XP, and they're not too difficult. They also usually have chests in them, which give you a little bit of bonus XP as well. and then a precious chest, which gives us even more XP at the end here. And yeah, that domain took under 3 minutes. So we just did these 3 in Mondstadt, which got us about 1300 XP and allowed us to get to level 22. I'd say my favorite way to gain XP in the early game is the Adventurer's Handbook. These little goals, they're just kind of satisfying to do. So got that expedition there. Now we got to enhance 6 artifacts to level 4. Can go ahead and claim that, 100 XP per little task here. Claim that. And then chapter 5, we might not be able to complete. It depends. But, as soon as we start, we have 500 extra XP here just from the various stuff we've already done. Most of these things we should be able to technically do. We did save some resin, so we can do these 3 domains of forgery, which is the weapon ascension material. We only have the one in Mondstadt currently unlocked, so we're just going to do that one. Typically, you will need these materials at one point or another. Ah, the good old days where domains take almost 2 minutes. We are challenging difficulty 2 though already. Anyway, we can get that one now. 3 weapons to 40 might be a bit of a problem. Most of the books I use right now use these horns, which aren't even open today, so that might actually be where we're stuck unless we just want to raise some random ones. 3 characters to 40 wasn't too big of a deal. We've been picking up some XP books here and there, but alright, since we're basically stuck with weapon anyway, we'll just come back to Adventure Handbook later. Next point is mostly about exploration as well, and the Oculi. Again, similar to like chests, there are a massive amount of them with access to pretty much the entire world. You don't strictly need an interactive map for these, though it does help. I personally prefer just to mark my map whenever I do randomly stumble across one, so that when I do reference an interactive map later and I'm only missing 1 or 2, it's less of a pain to find that 1 or 2. And while collecting Oculi itself doesn't give you any XP, when you actually go to the Statue of the Seven to worship it and give it Oculi, you do get a decent chunk here. Going from 6 to 7, for example, we need 8, and we have this reward here which gives us 280 adventure XP. The rest of the rewards, especially the permanent stamina, is very important as well, so I'd recommend this be one of the first things you farm, definitely before chests. Will allow you to run further, climb higher, etc. So I think we're only up to 8 different ways to gain adventure XP and level up, but the other ones I wrote down here are pretty redundant, and another one's a little cheeky. Like, if you buy the battle pass, you get extra fragile resin, which is basically just resin, which means more adventure XP. But I mean, that's pretty dumb. I don't know anyone who buys the battle pass just for the fragile resin. There's also the Serenity Pot, which you can get a weekly fragile resin from, but I think we need to be a bit higher AR, 25 to 30, I believe. But out of those, let's call it 8 methods to increase your AR, I'd say if your only goal is leveling up quickly, do your dailies every day, use your resin so you're not at cap, obviously, and then just purely focus on story mode. Go in your journal, do everything here. They're mostly pretty short compared to the amount of adventure XP you get. And then once you can't do anything here anymore, you would pull up the interactive map and look for different world quests. You can see most of them down here give 100 to like 250, maybe some more. Visiting the different areas also unlocks various other world quests and like more important ones with different parts here, like we showed earlier. Even though it says we only get 300, out of the little sections of the quest, we could end up getting like 1,000. After you do all the quests you can, then it'd be time to really hunker down and start collecting all the Oculi. This is decent for AR progression, but also I just feel like the stamina you get is really valuable. As far as I remember, it's really only Mondstadt and Liyue that actually give you the stamina, so focus on these 2 starting areas first. And if you're not that concerned with leveling up quickly, then my favorite way is just doing 1 area at a time, getting all the chests, all the Oculi, all the world quests, to just completely 100%ing one small area and then moving on to the next. It's probably not the most efficient or the fastest way to increase AR, but it's what I like to do the most. So take that how you will. But that'll do it for the little leveling guide here. I guess the only difference from now and since it launched is that we have a lot of areas now, and you can probably max out your AR just on world quests. Probably not, but I digress. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.